All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you guys. Let me know in the chat if I sound okay, if my mic is working. It's been a while. Mic check. That looks good. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. It's been a rough 2 weeks. Really, it's been a rough couple months, but this last 2 weeks have been really bad. Just a quick update before we get into Sebastian. I finally was able to get to see my doctor today. He was out of town last week, so it sucks. These last 2 weeks, I was literally sitting in bed, basically in the fetal position. Probably should have went to the ER, but I'm too stubborn for that. But anyway, so doctor says that they believe I have some kind of bacteria in my stomach. Which makes a lot of sense with what the symptoms I've had, fatigue, all that kind of stuff. And basically, for those that don't know what that stuff does to your body, is that basically, when you eat, usually that's your energy. But with that bacteria, what it does is it actually like absorbs your food. And so it takes that nutrients away from your body. And so it's been rough. So luckily we believe we have a diagnosis, but the the irony is the prescription they provided me when I went to the CVS, they didn't have it, so I have to wait maybe a day or two. I think it's just 1 or 2 pills that I take, and then that's it. Hopefully, and I'm not sure. This is my first time going through this, so I see a lot of people mentioning some different stuff. But anyway, hopefully that'll help. But unfortunately, even though I was really happy to get some kind of diagnosis, then to go to the pharmacy and end up finding out that they don't have the medication, it's going to take a couple days till they can order it. So. But I'm still happy. I feel okay. I'm definitely far from 100%. I do apologize, guys. It sucks. But we're here. I appreciate the love and support. I see everybody. Eat yogurt. Yeah, I've been. Yeah, so probiotics, stuff like that. Yep. Got all that going. So, yeah, and I believe. I don't know exactly how I got it, but I know that I really started getting, especially the fatigue started last year. And for those that have been following my channel, last year we went out searching for Aidan Clune, and I mean, really, we went out hard, especially after we found his shoes. And so I don't know if maybe I got bit by a mosquito, if I drank some bad water. There's ticks out there, but I think you get Lyme disease, so I don't know if that would have been a thing. But I did get ticks because that's just part of going out and searching in the middle of the desert. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. After I came back from all of that, that was really when I started kind of declining. So again, it could be one of the reasons why I got sick or how I got it. But either way, at least hopefully I got, some answers and, a path. And then from there, we'll figure it out. So anyway, again, thank you guys so much for the love and support. Let's get into it. I've missed a lot. It's been 2 weeks. So we'll get into it.
Yeah, and on Sunday.
Yeah, Justin did reach out, of course. I love Justin. God bless him. We have such an amazing community. And God bless my mods for coming in here. You guys are amazing. The love and support. And I hate being sick. And I'm not a big attention seeker. And it just, it sucks. But at the end of the day, hopefully in a couple days, get the medicine and hopefully, we slowly get back, because I would really like to get better. And as always, for those who have been with me for a long time, know that we always, even though we'll cover a big case like Sebastian, we always like to try to get back by featuring, other missing persons that obviously don't have that same kind of attention. It's just how it kind of goes. But I just wanted to say, this is, oops, you know what? Let me minimize this. Yeah, thank you guys. I wish I could shout everybody out. I kept an eye on it, Debbie, with the ticks. I think I got 2 ticks, if I recall. And that was early on. I don't think, because after I got the ticks early on, which was almost a year to the day, because we started going out there, I think in April, just before the family comes out, because the family would come out in May. And I think I did end up getting a tick that time as well. But I didn't feel sick or anything after that, so I don't think I got Lyme disease or anything from that, as far as I know. But then after that, I had that tick repellent, and then I was heavily covered. But anyway, Aidan Clune went missing in April of 27th, 2022. This was literally not long before Dylan Rounds went missing. They didn't go missing too far apart. Even though it's 2 different states, they're still fairly close. They're not connected. Of course, Dylan Rounds, that was obviously foul play on James Brenner, the killer, taking Dylan's life and then burying him. But with Aidan Clune, and I'm going to do some member lives, because I know there's new members and maybe you didn't follow me last year and don't know what we did, but we started from the beginning with Aidan Clune. I'm not going to go too much because I know we're going to cover Sebastian, but I just want to say they're going to do a search at the end of May here. I'm trying to look where it's at. Does this one have it? Let me go back to the top. I think it's at the top here. There it is. Okay, yeah, so they're going out May 31st and June 1st. It's in Curry, Nevada. It kind of is on the border of Utah, not too far. There's Windover out there, and then it's not too far from there. But again, this channel, the main thing that I really wanted to do with this channel is try to get back, help the missing. We helped in Dylan Rounds as much as we could. With Aidan Clune, it's a little different circumstances, because this isn't like, it doesn't seem like it's foul play. It's just sadly, this poor teenager going out and unfortunately maybe some mental health issues, and unfortunately just wandered off and was never seen again. And then, of course, last year we found his shoes, and then, of course, we thought for sure, we were going to find him. But unfortunately, it just, it's going to take a little bit more. But anyway, if you would like to be involved in some way or somehow, there are a couple of codes right there. Let me move these over. There's the Facebook group. Oh, let me move this here. You have the Facebook group there. I don't know if anybody can scan it and let me know if that works. But you have the Facebook, the TikTok, and then there is a GoFundMe. Now, I usually don't like promoting GoFundMes because I've seen, some bad results. But I can tell you with this family, being that they go out every year and they use all those resources towards searching. And for those that have been with me know, this is a great family. The mother, Amy Clune, I speak with her a lot. She's a lovely mother who is just desperate to get answers. And if you would like to help support, there is the codes there. I'd rather have you guys, if you want to donate, I'd rather have you guys donate to that than my PayPal or Venmo, because I would really love to bring him home this year. I really do believe we can. And we'll do some member lives, and I'll show you guys the statistics. If he's out there with us finding the shoes, he's most likely, because I spoke with, some experts when it comes to searching and recovering missing people. And usually, especially with shoes, if they're on feet, and it's 8 p.m. and the temperature is dropping rapidly, because with the desert, you could be out there in the middle of the summer, but because of the altitude, it'll get up to, in May and June, you can get up to 80, even 100 degrees, depending just on the time. And then when it gets to night, it drops. It drops to the 30s. But he went missing in April, so it's I forget the exact temperature, but it dropped sadly. But from what I heard, the statistics is from his shoes, he's probably not more than a mile radius from the shoes, just because you're now either in your socks or feet, and the terrain is rough. It is sticks, thorn bush, rocks everywhere. I can't imagine walking out there barefoot, or even just with socks. It would just be an absolute nightmare. And it's now dark, and you're in a forest that you're not familiar with. How long? He went missing 3 years ago. We found his shoes. It was the first physical evidence ever found in that case. Here is me actually finding the shoes. I played this last time. We're going to get to Sebastian, but there's kind of a full circle of why I show this, but this is literally right after we found the shoes. I have a lot.
Where are you?
Oh, I think this is a little bit after we... Yeah, so there's his shoes.
I think he might have fell.
He didn't go far without his shoes.
Anyway, I'll do a members live and kind of explain everything, but that's a shoe, one of them. And I thought I put in the picture, but there's also, I have a picture and I have a video of the officers coming the next day because they couldn't come out that day, and they recovered the shoes. Honestly, I wish we didn't give the shoes to them, because they're just sitting there. And the mother has asked repeatedly to see the shoes because they might have, some kind of clues. We didn't want to touch the shoes. We just took pictures, and then let them do that. But all I know is they're just sitting in, an evidence locker or whatever, and it's just frustrating. Yeah, he had an issue. So like I said, he had mental health issues. He was actually taking his, again, I'll do a members live. He was actually taking his shoes off constantly. And this was because he was experiencing some kind of mental health issues. And so he was told to ground himself by taking off his shoes. And so they would see shoe prints, and then all of a sudden they would see footprints, and then shoe prints, and rinse and repeat. And I think what he was doing, he was trying to ground himself. But mental health issues, it's terrible. All right, moving on. No, there was. What we were looking for is some kind of reason as why he would take the shoes off, but again, because he was doing that the entire time, we just wonder. I really think he took his shoes off, tried to ground himself, and he kind of wandered off a little bit, and then couldn't find his shoes and got lost. That's just a theory. But anyway. All right, moving on. Again, I've missed a lot. Apparently, I upset Crispy really bad. I have not heard anything. I have not watched any videos. Again, I've been out. So if anybody wants to let me know in chat what in the hell is going on. I know that allegedly there was a alleged threat to me made shortly after my last live. Again, I'm not really going to entertain it. I have not seen it. I could care less. If he wants to scare me or whatever, that's just going to motivate me more. So, and we'll get to what I'm going to, if I get better, I'm going to tell you guys what I'm going to do towards the end of the live. Because I'm going to make a promise to Crispy here. Because I know I'm sure he'll probably watch this. All right, so let's move on. And I'll try to read chat. Jazz says CP did say some nasty stuff. He threatened you. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I haven't watched it. I could care less. Kiss my ass. I'm sorry. All right, so I want to start out with kind of finishing what I started 2 weeks ago, which is the one thing I have is a little bit of experience with working with families. Again, that doesn't make me an expert, but it was very interesting because working with the Dylan Rounds case, that was a foul play. That was, foul play. With Dylan Rounds, different, missing child, likely not foul play. We don't know 100%, but most likely just sadly wandered off and succumbed to the elements, possibly. But so I want to play just a couple of clips from my one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorites, but I love Deception Detective. I know he's put out 2 videos. I know he just did one like 5 days ago. I didn't want to play that one because I hate to play something that's something new. Of course, I'm only playing just a few snippets, but I just want to kind of bounce off what he mentions in this and what I've experienced with working with Candace Cooley and Amy Clune.
Sebastian, we know you're out there. If you're watching this, we love you. We're going to find you.
Thank you, Michelle.
The parents ask for help. That's the entire point of these appearances. If the parents don't ask for help,
let me turn this
it
up.
means A, that they might know the kid is beyond any help. They might know the kid is already dead. Or it might mean they have an ulterior motive. They're not necessarily doing this interview to help find their kid.
Yeah.
They're doing it to push a narrative, or they're doing it to clear their own name. Either way, they have some other agenda.
And some big study, or me just sitting in a room wondering what would I do if my kid was missing. It's simply things that I've noticed that actual parents of missing children do spontaneously because they don't know what happened. Whereas hoaxers tend not to do these things, at least they don't do them unprompted, because they actually know what happened. So it doesn't occur to them in the first place. All right, without further ado, let's listen to Katie.
The last time I saw my son was when he went to bed.
Tonight marks 1 year since Sebastian Rogers disappeared from his home near Beach High School in Sumner County. He's 16 now, but there are still no confirmed sightings or leads in the case.
Fox 17 News' Kelly Avellino sat down with Rogers' mother, Katie Proudfoot, in the search for her son and the ongoing public scrutiny surrounding this investigation.
Green tea! A voice and an exuberant smile that have been missing for a year that Sebastian Rogers has gone without his favorite things.
Cats are the number one. He loves animals, almost all animals.
Animals, video games, books, and any chance in the pool.
He loves water. He swims like a fish.
Sebastian also missed his birthday.
December 7th. He would. He turned 16, and
Oops.
he should be home for that.
But
As I said in the intro, it's not a great sign that Katie talks about Sebastian in the past tense, even if it's just a slip up every now and then. And that's because we always speak based on what we know. So if a mother knows that her son is dead, or believes that he's dead for some reason, it often slips out through her words. And Katie actually looked like she was aware that she was doing it, and
Yes.
puffed and almost...
And it almost looks like, I think we can, a lot of us agree, it almost looks like she was about to say shit when she, after she said that.
made a big deal about correcting herself. So does this mean that she killed Sebastian and she knows something happened to him? No, not necessarily. But we're just taking note of it. It's even a card in the deception deck. And that's because Susan Smith in 1996 famously talked about her sons in the past tense, when at the time, just like Sebastian, they were just missing. So even though we're only 1 minute into this heavily edited interview, we already have Katie violating the first rule on my missing presser checklist, talking about the kid in the past tense.
December 7th. He would. He turned 16, and he should be home for that.
But Sebastian, who has autism, hasn't been home since February of last year. After dinner at the Texas Roadhouse on the 25th, Katie says she and her son went home.
Did anything happen the night he went missing that was like caused him to run away? Was he punished in any way? An argument? Just a normal night?
It was a normal night. It was a calm night.
That turned tumultuous by the next morning.
When I went in his room, and he wasn't there. He wasn't in his bed.
Katie says she frantically searched the house and drove around the neighborhood at 6:30 a.m. until she and Sebastian's stepfather, who says he was away for work at the time, called police.
There's lots of problems here, but they really all boil down to one thing, that Katie isn't being cooperative, which is another item on our checklist. In fact, she seems to be going in order of the checklist. And by uncooperative, I mean she's not actually answering the questions that she's being asked, which you'd expect her to do because these are questions that allow her to provide us with information to go help find her missing kid. For example, the journalist asked her about the night Sebastian went missing. And what did Katie say? Well, she didn't actually answer the question. Instead, she sat there silently until the journalist hopped in to break the silence and provided the answer for her. It was the journalist who said, well, was it a normal night? And then Katie repeated that answer. Moreover, the one other detail she provided, that it was calm, is vague, which is another thing that liars typically are. They're vague because if they have a co-conspirator, they need to line up their stories together. So they don't want to give too many concrete details because they might tell different stories and get exposed.
Yeah, so this is one thing, and of course, I'm sure most of you guys know. You have Chris is usually the one out there speaking, and I think, and I'm sure a lot of people have come to this conclusion, because if you have Chris and Katie both out there kind of doing different, going out there on YouTube, but of course it's always Chris. But if you had Katie and Chris both, maybe separately doing talks, of course, then there's going to end up possibly being some inconsistencies between the timelines. So,
or they just never thought of the details in the first place. Finally, Katie did another thing that was uncooperative and a hallmark of liars who are trying to conceal information. She told us what she didn't see in Sebastian's bedroom instead of what she did see. For example, were the bed sheets tussled like someone had pulled him out of bed? Or was the bed neatly made like he'd never actually crawled into bed that night? Was the window open? Was his door open? Was the light switch flicked on like he'd brazenly left in the middle of the night? Or was it flicked off like he tried to sneak out? We don't know. All she told us is what she didn't see. Again, does this mean that she's guilty? No, not necessarily. But by this point, I've been analyzing them for a year. And I think that Katie does know what happened to Sebastian, even if she doesn't know exactly where he is right now. I won't rehash my full theory here, but I'll link that video at the end of this one if you want to check it out next. Okay, let's keep listening.
Days later,
Okay.
investigators combed
So there's one more part. There's still, I think I just got half of his video because of course, a huge shout out. I love Deception Detective. He's in the chat. I love his work. I think it's very unique because, you have a lot of body analysis out there, which is amazing. I love watching those, videos of body analysis and language. But I love him. He's got a really unique niche. I think Deception Detective is going to rise up there. And if you're still in the chat, I'm really proud of you because really you found a very, very interesting niche that I haven't seen before because people are always, there's a lot of those experts with body language. But I do think this is very awesome insight. And usually I have his link. If I play his clips, I put the link in my description. I might not have done that, so as soon as I'm done, I will put that link to his channel. If you haven't subscribed and if you like what he's talking about, he's covered a lot of I think most of the interviews. I think all of them, and they're very fascinating. Because again, it's not body language analysis. It's what they're saying, and it's a great niche.
through a landfill 2 hours away, still saying they had found nothing.
There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
But at this point, you don't rule it out?
We're not ruling anything out.
For the next year, any activity involving Sebastian's
Okay, before I get to this last one, I'm just going to play this one more clip from him because then I want to bounce something off what he's going to be talking about. Jocelyn, I think it was Jocelyn. If you can put the link to the GoFundMe again, so I can't, for some reason I can't do it on my OBS. It's weird. So if you could, somebody could put that in the chat again so I can pin it at the top. Because again, if anyone's thinking about donating like PayPal or Venmo, please, if you would like, please send that to the GoFundMe for Aidan Clune. Because I want to bring him home this year. All right, back to Sebastian.
case would fuel droves of online followers and even a restraining order against one YouTuber.
There were quite a bit of people that were, sending some very threatening and
Okay.
Active and ongoing investigation. We continue to work with our state and federal partners. We will continue to seek a resolution in this case.
What do you believe happened to Sebastian?
Unfortunately, over the last year, I have thought every single day, night, every moment of every possibility of something that could happen to him, where he could have gone, if he had gone with someone, if someone took him willingly, unwillingly, if he'd run away and got lost, if he'd a million different things. And unfortunately, I don't know.
I find it interesting. Now, Deception Detective's going to talk about how he thinks that they were watching his videos, and he's going to talk about that. And I do think that's exactly probably what was going on. And I find it interesting between the two, runaway and abduction. She starts with the abduction first and then the runaway. I just thought the order is very interesting. But I think I 100% agree with what Deception Detective says here. Again, if someone could put that link to the GoFundMe.
When this interview first came out a month ago, lots of my subscribers told me that they thought Katie had been watching my videos and adapting what she said in interviews to match my list. And that might be the case. But the problem is, lying is hard. It's really hard. For example, she just said that she doesn't know what happened, and maybe Sebastian ran away, maybe he was taken. All the things I said innocent parents should say, right? All options should be on the table if you don't know what happened, and there's no evidence to suggest one scenario over another. But the problem is, just like any bad scriptwriter or actress, Katie is telling, not showing. In other words, if she really thought it was possible that Sebastian might have been kidnapped, why is she not addressing any potential kidnappers? She's on TV right now. Katie never addresses him through the camera either, saying something like, Sebastian, if you're out there, dial 911. Mommy and Daddy are looking for you. So when I
Preach
say
it, buddy.
lying...
Preach it. Now, of course, if you want to watch that whole video, I'll try to get the link. I think somebody put the link in the chat. But yeah, I'll put it in my descriptions as well. Deception Detective, amazing. Again, he's got a video I think he put out 5 days ago. It's kind of a two-parter from that interview that they did on the anniversary. And it's just... I love his niche. He is going to grow so big. I'm super proud, because he's going places. It's amazing. Okay. Oh, there's one more thing I think I wanted to mention. Oh, the other thing I wanted to bounce off, and I'll probably go a little bit deeper here in just a minute, but working with the Dylan Rounds case, for those that have been with me a long time know that I had Candace Cooley on my channel a bunch of times. I can't even count how many times. And then, of course, I went out and searched with them. And I even had the honor to go out with Texas EquiSearch. And that was amazing. I got to work with one of the best drone operators ever. And it was so cool. I learned so much about the drone. It was truly humbling. Anyway, having Candace on, keep in mind, this is before, we knew what happened. The only thing we knew is that likely Dylan Rounds was dead, sadly. But who is the one that took his life? Now, of course, me and a lot of others thought it was likely Brenner, because really out there with the Dylan Rounds case, it's a desert, and he was kind of farming and starting his thing. And there was a kind of a guy that was kind of helping him, but it was an older gentleman, and sadly took his life. But when I had Candace on, the one thing is she would entertain different theories, right? And even after, especially when I wasn't live with her and I was just speaking with her one-on-one, just on the phone, and kind of just talking about a little bit, because, sometimes she would share stuff that, it was kind of inside information. And, again, she entertained all different possibilities. But, up until this point, 1 year later, it's always been, oh, he ran away. Yet you have a video where you've got lights moving and a car at 3 a.m., and the chances that happens when he went missing between 12 and 6, that's not a coincidence, in my opinion. And the fact that they don't entertain that, I'd understand if it's early on days where maybe they know that information and they want to deceive the public and say, oh, it's garbage trucks, because it kind of got leaked out. And I'd understand that, because, maybe they don't want to spook whoever, maybe they knew the car or whatever. But, once it gets getting cold, you would think that they'd be kind of entertaining these ideas, but never. Anyway. But I've got more.
Every single day, night, every moment of every possibility of something that could happen to him, where he could have gone, if he had gone with someone, if someone took him willingly, unwillingly, if he'd run away and got lost, if he'd a million different things. And unfortunately, I don't know.
When this interview first came out a month ago, lots of my subscribers told me that they thought Katie had been watching my videos and adapting what she said in interviews to match my list. And that might be the case. But the problem is, lying is hard. It's really hard. For example, she just said that she doesn't know what happened, and maybe Sebastian ran away, maybe he was taken. All the things I said innocent parents should say, right? All options should be on the table if you don't know what happened, and there's no evidence to suggest one scenario over another. But the problem is, just like any bad scriptwriter or actress, Katie is telling, not showing. In other words, if she really thought it was possible that Sebastian might have been kidnapped, why is she not addressing any potential kidnappers? She's on TV right now. Katie never addresses him through the camera either, saying something like, Sebastian, if you're out there, dial 911. Mommy and Daddy are looking for you. So when I say lying...
All right. One last thing I just want to address with that is in his list here, ask for help. That was another thing, with even having Amy Clune from, which is Aidan Clune's mother, they would thank us for, having them on and letting them share the story. And a lot of times, if they could, they would ask for help. And again, you don't see that in this case. So again, I love his presentation. I love his bullet points here. I think they're spot on. Truly amazing. All right, moving on. Yeah, I agree. And again, there's some things about let me get to this. Oh. All right. Now we'll get to the next example of my experience working with, mothers or parents with missing children under two different circumstances. Again, foul play and then just missing.
Any bad scriptwriter or actress, Katie is telling, not showing.
Oh, thank you.
In other words, if she really thought it was possible that Sebastian might have been kidnapped, why is she not addressing any potential kidnappers? She's on TV right now. Katie never addresses him through the camera either, saying something like, Sebastian, if you're out there, dial 911. Mommy and Daddy are looking for you. So when I say lying...
Okay.
You know what's so crazy? The fact that Kate...
So then, of course, you keep in mind, I've been out for 2 weeks, guys, so I'm trying to kind of play some different stuff that I found. So, of course, they had Bullhorn Betty's, the court case thing. And just looking at Chris and Katie and hearing about what Katie did at the court, it's just not the behavior that I've experienced with working with these families with two different situations. It is just the complete opposite.
And Chris Proudfoot claim that they fear for their lives because of Bullhorn Betty stalking, harassing, threatening, and talking about them. Yet Katie Proudfoot's own friend on YT, Clune, stated that Katie actually wore her hair in that side braid to troll Bullhorn Betty. Listen.
No, I think her hair and side braid's cute.
Well, FYI, she braided it like that to troll Betty.
At least she got hair to braid.
How are you going to sit there and claim that you're afraid of this woman, yet at the same time think of ways to troll her, to get under her skin, to get a reaction out of her? To me, this just shows that Katie Proudfoot does have a very manipulative and dark side to her. They're not afraid of this woman. They are afraid of what she is saying and how what she is saying could impact how others view them, and in return could uncover things about them that they don't want put out there, specifically when it comes to Sebastian Rogers and his disappearance. I also want to point out something else that Katie and Chris Proudfoot's friend on YT said. Take a listen to this.
You're so quick to sit there and say, hey, look, picture came in, but you're really...
Okay, so this, I want to talk about this because this is another experience that I've kind of have, and some of you may know this. All right, so from what I understand, so you remember the video or the photo that came out that they thought was Sebastian? I forget where it was, if you want to let me know in chat, but, he was kind of looking down. He had dark hair. It looked pretty, it was pretty close, not going to lie. So now Chris said, no, that's not Sebastian. But Seth, he went out there, right? Because, there's that chance, right? He's holding on to hope. Any kind of lifeline that, he may be out there alive. He is going to go for it, photos can be kind of deceiving. You never know. They could have dyed his hair. because he seemed like he had, much darker hair than Sebastian does. But anyway, so here is Seth kind of defending himself about how Chris just kind of wrote it off saying, oh, well, no, that's not Sebastian. But Seth went out there, and I'll kind of explain an experience I had with Aidan Clune's mother in a situation similar.
Picture came in, but you're really quick to tell everybody that's not him. How in the do you know it's not him? Your own words tell me that you're guilty.
I mean, to be fair, all I can think about is that situation in North Carolina, and there was an immediate, that is not him. You, however, hauled your all the way there to find out it wasn't him, maybe.
So you have one person, Crispy, writing it off, saying no. And you have another guy literally traveling to another state, just on a small chance that, it could be Sebastian. Now, the reason I played this is because a similar situation happened with Aidan Clune, Amy's mother. Obviously, Aidan had been missing for a year. I think this sighting, so there was a sighting here in Salt Lake where I live. Now, remember, he went missing. He actually had, grandparents that he was going to stay here with his grandparents, and then kind of had an episode and then traveled west and then ended up just on the border of Nevada. Anyway, there was a sighting. So we have, the tracks, the tram, and there was a lady that knew about his disappearance. And there was a kid on the tracks, and she took a picture. Now it was a side picture. It wasn't a full frontal picture like the Sebastian case. But she lives in California, so obviously she drove 2 states, come out, and was walking around trying to put out posters and stuff just on a whim. That might have been Aidan, just, kind of laying low, maybe dealing with stuff. And again, you have example, Seth going out there, small chance, but it's a chance. There's hope. He goes out there. Chris Cady, no. They write it off. Amy Clune, she drove 2 states and was out here looking on a whim that her son may be out, out here in Salt Lake. So I just wanted to share, the experiences between the actions of Seth versus these others. I think there's a big, big issue. I just wanted to say, Lady Rose, thank you so much. Praying you're feeling much better, Chris. Hopefully I'll be feeling better in a few days when I can get my medication. It does suck. Yeah, I switched it on. I don't know if it'll kick on since I've already started the live. Oh, Nightbot's here. Hey, look. There's Nightbot. Okay, I got it going. Good deal. Oh, are you talking about Aidan Clune criminal? Mile marker 20 something, if I recall. Yeah, I'll have to look at the. Like I said, I'll have to do like a members or something. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's the only way, because I'm not asking for PayPals or Venmos or anything. I'd rather help them. But yeah, I mean, I missed 2 weeks, so it's really gonna hurt me. But again, it is what it is. I'd rather get healthy.
You should have
but
listened.
I'm gonna tell you guys, I've got a promise for Chris because I know he's watching. Because I know he allegedly threatened me. And then I heard something about I was selling photos. I have no idea what the hell if anybody wants to let me know in chat, I'm not going to play any of that stuff because it's nonsense. But if anybody wants to mention like what he was saying, I'll address it. But again, it's so stupid.
The curse again in that moment.
Any innocent parent who has a missing child, when they get a lead, they are going to drop everything and go seek that lead out to go.
Preach, my friend, preach. I love Matt. We've had our differences in other cases, but I love this kid and what he's doing with the TikTok and stuff on Sebastian Rogers. 100% agree with my experience. Again, Amy had just a side photo of a kid that kind of looked like Aidan from the side. He had kind of the same hair. And she drove 2 states and was wandering around with missing posters. She was downtown, kind of I wouldn't say, kind of a ghetto, but, kind of a sketchy spot, because she thought maybe he was kind of, homeless and just kind of, so she was around some sketchy areas, but she was going to do that because she wanted answers. She wanted to bring her baby home.
Get a follow-up on that lead to figure out if that lead is going to lead them to their missing kid. That is what Seth Rogers has done. The fact that this woman is sitting there and implying that Seth doing that is wrong.
Wait, is that what it is? $3 a pop to watch the THR video on my channel? I don't even have the footage. I mean, whatever I have, I got obviously from at night. Where's the proof of the $3? That's so stupid. I heard I upset him. I wish I was feeling. I would have loved to continue that week because I'm sure it would have been a very epic week because I heard I really touched some nerves. And again, I really just focused on calling his BS about him talking about the search because the second he started talking about that, it completely revealed to me that he has no idea about forming, search groups and how it all works, which tells me both of them are not doing that. I know that others probably that like them are going out, but that's not them. Right? And that is not what parents do.
It's just
that are desperate to find their babies.
Beyond me. This makes me feel even more confident that Seth is innocent in all of this. If Katie and Chris Proudfoot truly believe that Sebastian is out there.
I thought maybe they were going to say like the footage that I released because I did obtain, certain footage of Katie driving and some other things that I'm researching in the 3 a.m. car. I thought it was going to be that. The Texas Roadhouse, I have my Patreon. So anything on my Patreon, I do videos. That's what Patreon's for. Right? So I would cover something. That's what Patreon's for. Right? That's so stupid. Most of that stuff is early access, and then I cover it in a live usually that day or maybe the next day, right? But anyway, I guarantee you those Texas Roadhouse footage, it isn't just the footage, right? So basically he's probably saying, I'm charging $3 a pop to watch the Texas Roadhouse footage. No, it's the Texas Roadhouse footage, but I've edited it. I've spent hours and upon hours, probably was when I was breaking down the green hoodie lady. And so, yeah. But anyway, yeah. Oh my God, what a loser.
A lot that he was roaming the streets of America. They would be dropping everything and following up on those leads as well. But they're not. And that to me is further proof that they know that Sebastian is not out there roaming the streets, that Sebastian is likely not.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not a good interviewer. Deception Detectives in the chat, he's offered Chris hundreds of times not hundreds, but plenty of times to come on his show. That's the person that should have Chris on.
Alive. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments.
I think we should set that up. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I have no Discord, and I have no intention of doing Discord. I've heard when people do Discords and true crime, it gets really bad. And so, yeah, I have no Discord. I have a Discord for when I play my games, but, yeah, I don't do Discord with that. Yeah, but Patreon is for special videos. I get it. If he was upset that if I just put the Texas Roadhouse footage out and there's nothing else, right? Then yeah, I'm sure he has every right to be mad. But no, that is me spending hours breaking down, zooming in, and all that. That is me working on a project that just happens to involve the Texas Roadhouse footage. That is stupid.
To an increased fear because of the...
So anyway, moving on, just to answer that, that's funny. Okay, so again, this is Candace Clune, for those that don't know. That's the mother of Dylan Rounds. This is the father of Dylan Rounds, Justin Rounds. Now, for those that don't know, they had split up long before Dylan Rounds went missing or was sadly murdered. Now, I don't want to get too deep, but apparently they did have kind of like a rocky relationship, or, a bad breakup. Alleged. I'm just going to say allegedly. That was kind of the word. That stuff happens, right? Good to see you guys. I see a lot of people saying hello. But, so keep in mind, and I've heard some scary stories, right? I don't know if they're true, but again, it was apparently allegedly a bad breakup. But when Dylan Rounds went missing, those two were glued together. It didn't matter what past, shaky past they had one goal: bring their son home, despite their, whatever they may have had after they broke up. Again, I've heard some stories. I'm not going to share them because it's not relevant. But the point of the story is they came together. And again, you don't see this with the Sebastian Rogers case.
Open for a long period.
Okay.
So it's like...
So, two more things. Again, I wish I had more, but I do have something at the end. I promise. I have something that I'm going to do when I get better. As you guys know, I've studied that light video hundreds of hours. And I'm going to do something that, we'll talk about here in a minute. So, moving from that night, just before he disappeared, I just want to bring up three main scenarios that likely possibly could have happened to Sebastian. And I want to bring up just an example that I think it is a possibility. I think I don't know. It scares me a little bit, but let's just play it.
What happened? This is crazy, but I want to tell you, what was observed was the living room light on, the garage light on. There was a door that was open, and I think it was open for a long period of time.
So I found out, for those who don't know, that whole door thing was actually a window. It was one of the windows in the front room or dining room. That's because she did clear that up in a recent live. Well, I don't know if it was recent, about a month ago, but she did clear that up. So it was a window that was open, not a door.
Could that have been the entrance for... So
it could have been this window here. Because remember, a lot of the blinds were shut, especially in the back.
Even extra secure in that regard. Does mom park in garage regularly? I asked. Yes, always. Mom always parks in the garage. Chris has a big truck. It doesn't fit in the garage. His RV.
Yeah, so here's the thing that scares me. One of the possibilities is we've seen taking out the trash.
Bruising, anything. And they said no, nothing that they could see. But, our neighbors don't know everything about it.
Let's see. Okay. So
Chris has a big truck. It doesn't fit in the garage.
So I'm sure most of you know that eventually, so he went missing 25th. It was March 7th. We're looking at, a week and a half, almost 2 weeks after he disappeared. The landfill search happened. Right? Days.
Garage, his RV.
11 days, approximately. Because the trash man came, and usually there's one or two guys. They
Bruising,
go out.
Anything.
So there's the trash can, or trash truck, excuse me. And I think there's maybe one guy in the back, or maybe two, I'm not sure. But either way, there's a guy, and they clear, because some, in my state here, or at least in the neighborhoods that I lived in, the trash truck just has the one driver, and it has the arm, picks it up. He does one side of the street, and then he comes around and does the other side. But it looks like with this one, they pick up both sides, right? Because they have the thing in the back, so they just roll the cans. But apparently there was a heavy bag or something, and so it took two people, and that's allegedly what led to the landfill search.
Sunday.
And then added. So.
A door.
Sorry. I tried to. Tried to find that little spot where she talks about the trash, but I couldn't find it. I apologize. So, one possibility that does scare me a little bit is they did the landfill search. Trying to get the exact number because you have the 26th, 27th, 28th, so 10 days, right? So, week and a half. They go out there. Now, this scares me a little bit because there is just that possibility. I don't think this is the main scenario that happened, but there is that possibility. Now, what scares the hell out of me is, anybody remember this case? This was Heidi Plank. I think it's Plank. I apologize if I mispronounced it. It was a pretty popular case, especially kind of late 2021, 2022, because all of a sudden she gone, right? And for those that don't know what happened, I'm just going to kind of keep it short, is she was last seen on October 17th. Now, she went with her dog, and she ended up going to this luxury high-rise, I think, apartment building in downtown Los Angeles. And there's actual video, because I think they had video cameras around the building. And she was seen kind of walking her dog, and I think that's the last footage. But I think because of the cameras, and I think her car was still there or something like that, or nearby, which means she never left the building. Now, this case was really odd because I think she had a boss or something. Again, take this with a grain of salt because this is, I covered it a little bit, but it's been a long time. But it's a fascinating case. It is odd because it almost looked like there was a perpetrator, like I think it was her boss or something like that. She did have a boyfriend, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. And anyway, the boss showed up with like some pastries and stuff just after she went missing, and it looked really weird. And then, of course, he wanted all the information she had because she worked for his company. So it looked like he was like the main suspect, right? Or, one of, persons of interest. And then, let's see, does it say here? Okay, yeah. So eventually, there was somebody. So what happened? I don't know how tall this building was. I forget. But she ended up going up, and so I guess she was going to party, I'm assuming, or ended up maybe, wanting to socialize, and then that ended up partying. I don't know her motives, but she ended up there. She ended up having some lady that she saw, I don't know if she knew her, had watched her dog on a lower level. And then she went up higher somewhere. I forget the floor. Someone could correct me. But anyway, long story short, ended up being a party in this apartment. And she ended up allegedly overdosing. And these people at the party, they panicked. And what did they do? They put her body in the dump chute. And so they eventually went and did an extensive search at the Canyon Landfill, but they never found her. And sadly, as it says here, it is known that at least 4 to 5 people know exactly what happened but refuse to come forward. This case still is unsolved, and her body was never found, and that really scares me. I don't think that is the main scenario that happened to Sebastian, but it does scare me a little bit because maybe they had the cojones just to put him in that, maybe he fell down, hit his head. Maybe it was foul play, accident, she freaked out, one of those scenarios. And then, I hope that's not the case. But with the 3M lights, I think the 3M lights lean more towards an abduction, but I do still worry about that because the fact that they never found her does worry me a little bit. Yeah, and it is sad. Yeah, there's a lot of backstory to that. Man, it's a wild case. Yeah, people like that. Yeah, so stupid. So, yeah. Yeah, they ended up finding her dog, I think, halfway up somewhere in the apartment, just wandering the halls. Yep. And then apparently, I don't know, but apparently someone from the party spoke to like an anonymous source, and that's how it got kind of leaked out of what
was. Now,
likely happened.
There's the location by...
Yeah, Sandra says the fear of reporting accidental deaths. Right, it's like, remember like how people would freak out, and if somebody overdosed, they wouldn't take them to the hospital because they were freaked out that they would get charged for possession or, drug use. But now they have changed that. Yeah, the dog is, I think the dog was recovered and is fine. But, yeah, to put her down a dump chute, it's terrible.
Chris Proudfoot, and it absolutely is the location.
Lights. And using this line, we can determine. Okay, so let's see. How long have we been going for? 1 hour? Okay. So, I have not listened to Chris's threat. Should I play it? I'm assuming I can find it on Twitter or something. And then I'm going to make Chris a promise, because I'm going to tell you guys what I'm going to be doing. Hey, DC. I'll be doing better hopefully in a week or so. I think I got a diagnosis, bacteria in my stomach, unfortunately. Does anybody know where I can find that short clip? I think it's on Twitter, maybe on YouTube, or is it on TikTok? I have not listened to it On My Mother's Grave, because I have no respect for Crispy, because he's shown his true colors a long time ago. If anybody hasn't heard the leaked phone call between the former PIs, the way he talks about women is just truly degrading. The words he uses. He has no respect for women. It's disgusting. Is it on TikTok? People are saying yes. I have not heard it. But, of course, I'm not going to threaten Chris. I'm going to make him a promise. All right. Let's go to TikTok. On YouTube. Yeah, the only thing with Cluminati is I'm going to have to go through like 6-hour video. Again, I don't want to do beef with other channels. That's not what we do here, but I think, where the hell do I search?
No, this is not the wall.
Oh, there it is.
Chris Profo was just live on a YT panel, and if you thought that this guy had anger issues before,
450.
wait until you hear this audio. The way that this man speaks,
needs to close her mouth before she can stuff a whole goddamn turkey in it and choke on a chicken leg on the way down. And hell, by doing it, she might actually do something good for her kids and her husband.
Okay, that's not the one. Does anybody know the link to it? True Crime Bloods played it. Is there? Okay, let me check Twitter. I'm sorry. I just wanted to play it and you guys can get my live reaction to it. Obviously, I could care less. It's not going to be. Hey, Lord Lodge. Good to see him. I'm going to find this. Oh, I know how to find it. Hold on. Isn't there like a short clip of it somewhere? Okay, let me go to my email. I think someone emailed it to me. Oh, bed crime stories? Okay. We'll go there. Again, I have not heard it. Again, because the first thing I heard is something about selling photos, and it's just like, Jesus. I clearly hit a nerve with this guy. Oh, sorry. Bed crime stories. My apologies. Okay. Videos. Or Daybell. Oh, there it is. Yeah, this is the one. Okay. Yeah, this was because it has the Chris.
Fairness. One, I wasn't coming up here to approach her, to talk to her and question her. That was not.
I have no idea what he's going to say. I have not heard this.
No, I just came up here to say hi.
Right.
And unfortunately, she jumped down. I was polite. I did say, good evening, Mrs. Skolnick. You know, I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not starting anything. It's
there
not
ain't nothing
to
wrong
start
with that.
anything.
I mean, she doesn't want to. Yeah.
At some point, me and Mrs. Skolnick could probably have a private conversation. I don't necessarily have to go to the public with a conversation with her. If she doesn't want one, that's fine. There's nothing to do with that.
Right. Well, you know what? That's nice of you to put that opportunity out there anyways, even after everything that's been done and said. I think that's still nice of you to put that opportunity out there.
Well, I mean, like I've said, in this whole time, everybody has their own opinions. They're entitled to them.
Damn right. Free speech.
You know,
that's right.
If you want to have a conversation, I'll have a conversation. We don't have to be public. We can go offline. I ain't perfectly okay.
You know what? I even went in and told Mob Crew that when he was sitting in there talking all that, there was a whole bunch of shit he was saying. And I can't remember what all he said, but I went in there. I said, well, if you really want to know that bad, why don't you go in there? Why don't you go ask him? He's got no problem speaking to you.
Well, I got Mob Crew a better one. you want to look at your videos very carefully and you want to get them done correctly, get off your damn computer and bring your ass down here and come find me, and I'll walk with you on every part of this road and walk with you on every part of your video. I got no problem with it. But when you sit behind a damn keyboard and you do the shit that you're doing, you play with fire, you're liable to get burned.
Woo!
He might want to reconsider some of the things he's doing right now, because he potentially may have a bigger issue down the road.
Woo!
Yeah, I was pretty shocked about that Texas Roadhouse footage being on their members only and Patreon and shit like that. I don't know if you guys know who Zav Girl is, but Zav Girl.
Oh, she is not going to compare the fucking thing that she did, Zav Girl. She just put out something that she didn't. She just put out a clip, of course, very disturbing, very disgusting. The Texas Roadhouse video, I spent hours on. If I just put the Texas Roadhouse and I didn't edit anything, I just put it out and said, hey, here's $3 to watch the Texas Roadhouse. He has every right to be pissed off. 100%. I spent hours breaking that video down. If I had time, maybe next live, we'll pull that up and we'll clear that out. But oh my God!
She put Gannon Stouck's autopsy photos
that was disgusting.
On her Patreon.
That was disgusting.
And was selling them via Patreon.
My question is to him, is I want to know, as he spoke to Seth, is Seth okay with somebody selling videos of his son and making a profit on it? There's a good question. Maybe he should talk to Seth.
Probably if he gets a cut.
Oh yeah, I'm rich, guys. I'm rich.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's just my opinion.
Busted.
Well, in Tennessee does have a law. You know, you're not supposed to video and take pictures of children under the age of a certain age for money without permission from the parents.
Who am I taking pictures? Is he talking about me taking pictures? I'm like 5 states away. How in the fuck? Again, I'm not gonna get too upset. Again, this is drama, and I'm just gonna smash this because I know, the last time I was live, everybody was emailing me, and of course I was sick, and I'm just like, I know it's gonna be something stupid, but I'll be more than happy to show whatever the hell they're talking about, and I promise you, it's gonna be an edited video that I spent hours on, which means that is my work that I worked on, looking at clues. And again, if it was just the video, he has 100% argument, 100% agree. I can't believe they're actually making a comparison to the Zav Girl thing, though. That's, woo, that's a little too far. But oh my God, him like, oh, I'm gonna walk you through. Look at this guy. He's been showing his true colors for a long time. This guy is a POS. And he loves fear. But Chris, I know you're watching. I'm going to make you a promise. When I get better, I am going to spend thousands of hours researching every single frame of every single video until the persons responsible are sitting where they need to be. I am making that promise. So let me show you guys what we're going to be doing here. Wow. Not surprised. Woo. So scared.
That those lights cannot be any higher than the hood of that truck.
All right. So, as you guys know, I've studied the ever-living shit out of this footage. But what I want to do, so if you guys remember last year, what I did is I went out into a baseball field and I was kind of walking around with flashlights, and I did a headlamp, and I did my phone flashlight to kind of see, like, I didn't have the exact distance because I don't know how far these lights are, the ones that are moving anyway. But I was just trying to get an idea, of just kind of what looked right, a flashlight versus the cell phone light. I really think there's some kind of flashlight. I don't think if they're involved, I don't think they would have used their phones because of geofencing. They got away, if they're responsible, whoever it is, I don't think they would have been that naive to be using phones. I really think there was some kind of watch your back, Chris. Lawsuit coming. No, there's no lawsuit coming. So there's a thing called fair use. As long as I transform something. And look at Soft Girl. She didn't even get sued. Did she get sued? I don't know. Did she get sued? I know she got a lot of shit. I'm surprised she even came back. Really, that was disgusting. But yeah, the Texas Roadhouse. Again, if I got time, if you guys want to see it, I'll pull it up and play it. Anyway, this is what I want to do, and maybe if people want to email me, but what I want to do, give me a second. Let me find this here. Find a good one. Let's see. Let me go back here. Sorry. Trying to find that one that... Where are you? Well, maybe this will work. Okay, yeah, this will work for now. Okay, so we know those are the floodlights from the home across next door to Sebastian Rogers. So what I want to do, right, because I want to be able to prove, or at least the best to my, what I can. And I'm sure AI can assist me in somehow. So give me a second, but I want to show you guys what I think we could do. Now, I would love to actually just be able to go and recreate it there. Of course, there was a team there that could have done those tests properly, which just really ticks me off because they had every opportunity to do all these different... For those who have been with me, I used to work with a former detective, Steve, and, he taught me so much. And doing these, what they call control tests, we've done them for a lot of cases, even Dior Coons. But what I want to do is I need to get a camera that's, obviously I can't get a surveillance camera. I don't know, maybe I can. I need to get something that's similar to that, millimeter, and as close as I can. And the biggest thing is, it's a nice thing with the video is now that we know how far from the camera to where those lights are at, not the moving ones, but the ones that are stationary on this home, I can mark a distance, right? So I don't know. I'm looking at this saying, 200 feet. I know I could probably easily actually... that's in meters. I hate meters. Let's switch this to feet. Yeah, there it is. So 50 feet. Yeah, so it's about a little over 100 feet. So what I'm thinking is, and again, crispy, what I'm going to do this summer is I'm going to get some floodlights as close as I can to these. I'm sure I can get some help to figure out kind of what lumens they are. Put those up somewhere. If I can't, obviously, if I can't do it there, I'll have to do it. I know a place I can do it with some buildings and the space. Put those lights up, and then the other thing, so we know we'll have the distance from the camera to those lights, right? So we'll have that distance. Then we have this light here on the right. Oh, you can't see it. Now this light, it took me a long time to figure out because I kind of was confused because the quality. But that light is coming from this home here. Now, because of the angle, it's likely, I don't know exactly where it is, which is going to be kind of an issue. I'm going to assume it's got to be probably this one unless they have a light here. But the main thing is what I'm going to have is I'll have the distance between the camera and one of the anchors, the floodlights. Then I know at the very least that light is somewhere on this house. So I do mathematical distance from the camera to that home. So I have 2 anchor points, right? One that's a little bit closer to the camera. One's a little bit further for the camera, which is great. Now, what I need to do, set those up, get the distances, set those up in, a controlled environment. And then I'll need to basically run along back and forth, trying a flashlight, headlamp, cell phone, and do it at different distances between those 2 lights. And hopefully with how AI is progressing, I'm sure we could get maybe not the exact distance, but get a good idea of the distance. Again, this is, I'm trying to, think outside the box here, but I know it could be done. May not be 100% accurate. Of course, this crew here, where the hell they are, had every opportunity to do this. And what did they do? They completely botched it, focusing on the neighborhood, trying to put out a narrative. It still disgusts me to this day that they would do that. They had every opportunity to run different control tests, running flashlights, pull up your car down the neighborhood, see how that looks. Of course, you couldn't even get the angle of the camera right, which just blows my mind. You can clearly see that this is at a 45-degree angle, but then what do? You shoot it almost straight on, and you can see completely over the boat. This is hers, or the team's. You can clearly see over the boat, but in the original footage, the actual footage, the boat is cut off. I mean, this is just the basic common sense of recreating. You have your phone there. You can go and look at the footage and see, okay, the boat gets cut off about halfway, so I shouldn't probably have my camera anymore. I should probably raise it up because I'm much lower to the damn ground. And I am capturing like half of what is not in this original footage. And it's just, of course we've gone over it, but it just bugs me because they had that opportunity to really answer some questions with the lights, because there's no better place than to do a recreation than there. I don't know. Maybe I'll take Chris's offer. Maybe we can, he can show me around over there. I don't know. All right, before I go, if you guys have anything you want me to address or talk about, is Chris and Katie in North Carolina? I heard they're out there somewhere, like in another state. Yeah, Kimberly. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of... Yeah, there's a lot of variables. The landscape is not as a big of an issue. as long as we have the two distances as close as we can get them, I don't think the landscape much is really going to matter. It's more about just the distance of the light and kind of getting that idea and knowing those 2 points, because then also I can measure from this house to this house, so then I know how far, not only, horizontal one way, but also the distance from this one to this one as far as, front and back. So I really think there's a lot that we could do to really figure out. Sorry, I'm trying to. Nope. Get an idea on the distance of those. And if I can prove to the best that I can, I don't know, prove is the right word, but provide a hypothesis with some kind of scientific, results that those lights were moving very closely to the Proudfoot's backyard. To me, that's huge. What are the odds those lights are moving between the Proudfoot's home and between these two homes? But I am going to, when I get better, Crispy, you better believe I'm going to be breaking down a lot more. Yeah, that would be really cool. I'm pretty sure they cost a lot. Thank you, Jenny. Let me get to all the stuff that people put, and let me just address them. And Jazz, as always, gifting Mob Crew memberships. Gifting everywhere she goes. She's such an amazing mod and supporter. Thank you so much. God bless you, sweetheart. Wendy, yeah, I'm not 100%. I'll feel better when I can start getting my antibiotics and get going. Geneva, good to see you, sweetheart. Glad you're feeling better. Yeah, still got a long ways. And I am so sorry, Miss Melissa. Oh, fibrosis. I am so sorry. I had a friend with that. That is tough. I am so sorry. Deanna, hope you're feeling better, Chris. And Lady Rose, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. God bless you. Sensei, member for 28 months. Yeah, we got Nightbot going. Rhonda, becoming a member. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. You are so sweet. Just Irish? Love the name. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Love the Irish. Yeah, me too. Because, yeah, after hearing that, woo, I almost want to hear that part where he wants to take me for a walk. Can I go back? I just got to listen to this about him taking me for a... All right. Oh, I gotta go to videos. I just gotta listen to this one part one more time.
Fairness. You know what?
That's right.
If you want to have a conversation, I'll have a conversation. We don't have to be public. We can go offline. I ain't perfectly okay.
You know what? I even went in and told, why don't you go ask him? He's got no problem speaking to you.
Get off your damn computer and bring your ass down here and come find me. And I'll walk with you on every part of this road and walk with you on every part of your video. I got no problem with it. But when you sit behind a damn keyboard and you do the shit that you're doing, you play with fire, you're liable to get burned.
Woo!
You might want to reconsider some of the things he's doing right now, because he potentially may have a bigger issue down the road.
Nope. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, I can't lie.
I need to get a buzzer. I need to start getting some sound effects here. I know a lot of channels are doing that. Do you guys want to see what he's talking about? So we can clear this up. Give me a second. I feel like I just need to clean this up so we can move on from this. You guys I don't like this drama stuff. But again, Crispy, you lit a fire under my ass. So thank you. All right. Yeah, let's go to my Patreon. Sure. Let's see what he's talking about. Let's see. God, every time. The only thing about Patreon is, holy hell, have they are always updating Patreon. Okay. So these are the ones I have in his case. Now, I did the red flag. I released that with her driving. That same day, I ended up going live, showing exact everything that I showed in here. Except, of course, this is a 9-minute video where I talk about what I think about stuff and what I noticed. Texas Roadhouse. I don't see Texas Roadhouse. What? Can I search in here? Sorry, guys. Hold on. I want to see this. What in the hell? There's pet videos. I only have 10 videos in here. Does anyone of you know which video? Sneak peek I made for that. Unreleased video. Huge reveal. Okay, that's the experiment one. Outside info. I don't even see a Texas Roadhouse in here. I think there's probably one for the members. Okay, here's Texas Roadhouse. This is a 45-minute video. This is a 45-minute video where I break down multiple different things. This isn't just Texas Roadhouse. Of course, I'm just going to... Sorry, you can't see everything, but this is it. Where? Pictures? No. This is it. This is mine. This is everything in my... And I have them all grouped up. So, as you can see, I spent a lot of work on the Texas Roadhouse, zooming in. I was looking at the vehicles. This, of course, is, when the green hoodie thing, so we were trying different things. Of course, I'm still doing other things. This is a 45-minute video that probably I spent a day working on. What in the hell is he talking about? Yeah, I don't sell pictures. I put out videos. Or I make a statement. These are it. Nothing's been taken out. Sorry, guy. I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. This is, unless there's like another video, but all these I work on. Yeah. All these I spend hours working on. If it was just a video and I didn't do anything to, make it mine, he has every right to be pissed off. He is full of shit. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have the resources. I don't have insurance, so I'm kind of limited. Yeah, I don't. I have no idea what. Everything's videos. Anyway, okay, so there's that. I'll look deeper because I'd be more happy to address it, you know, but they were sent for $3. Yeah. The only thing I will say is so, and I'm 50-50 on it. So Patreon, God, it's always changing. It's kind of, I don't know. You know, it used to be just, you know, it's like a membership for early access. And then they kind of made it to where, let's say you just put something out and say people don't want to spend the membership, you know, for a month or whatever, but they want one thing that you put out. So it'll ask you like, hey, if you want, we can make it a default where you pay, and it's right now I think it's $3. I put it the least amount, which is $3, because apparently Apple needs like $2 or whatever. It's crazy. So you can buy just like the video. But yeah, I have no pictures. That is it. And if anybody has screenshots, send them my way. I'll be more than happy to address them. I'm sure we won't see that. So anyway, I thought I'd address that because it's just such nonsense. Yeah, I know. Patreon has really, I think it's going a little too fast with how much they're changing. And yeah, they'll set defaults. And like I said, they'll start setting things where if you just put a video out, even though it's supposed to be just early access, they say, well, you know, why not just put a $3 or, you know, whatever for that thing, and then maybe if they like your stuff, then, you know, they make a membership. But anyway, it'll literally ask you as a default for everything else you're going to be putting out. I don't like it. I've switched it off, but sometimes when I come back, it'll ask me that, and it drives me nuts. So anyway, yeah, I've been trying to eat yogurt as well. Watch the hashtags, yeah. Yeah, these people, again, look at the energy they spend on YouTubers. It is wild. It blows my mind. Just like Jennifer Coffin-Daffer said in her live earlier today, all that energy that they spend on these YouTube channels, what the hell are they doing? No raising money for a reward, not putting together searches. It's sad. And it's a major red flag. It is not, in my limited experience working with families, it is not what they do. And yeah, and the threats have just gotten so, yeah, out of control. Yeah, so Debutante says, yeah, I have Patreon too, and they do that to my page. Yeah, it is. For those, anybody that has Patreon will know what I'm talking about. They try to push that stupid sell, you know, one thing for whatever. And I think I had like one or two. And but yeah, I usually switch it off because I think it's stupid. Because again, the Apple thing like wants at least like $2, which is so stupid. Again, everything that I set my memberships are at the lowest tiers. I could care less about money. I am not a money person. Anyway, I'm getting off track, guys. Anything else? Yeah, the other thing I was wondering at first when I was hearing this, of course I didn't, because I was sick, and I just, you know, I knew it was something stupid, and, you know, probably taken out of context to try to, you know, slander me. I think I got under his nerves, in my opinion, because I talked about him. This quote right here, and then we'll finish up. This quote right here told me everything.
But
Chris, period. Will you hear about it on the internet?
Health issues. You got to have certain things in place, and that's just not something that we line us up in a line and start marching through fields. I can't, because one, there's a lot of legal issues.
Right there, right there. I don't even need to hear anything else. The second he starts talking about legal issues, how many times has Chris B, used the excuse, oh, law enforcement told me I can't say this, HIPAA violation, we've been cleared when they have not been cleared. Even Seth hasn't been cleared. No one's cleared. Yet he brings the proof, right?
There's a lot of health issues. You got to have certain things in place, and that's just not something that we are equipped to do.
This is not the experiences I've had with parents that will do anything to find their child, even if they know that child is likely dead. In Dylan Rounds' case, they likely knew he was dead, but they did everything. They ended up getting another agency involved. I mean, Candace was ruthless, and she ended up getting stuff happening. Yeah, no, I just wanted to address, because I know he's going to probably watch this because it's been 2 weeks. So, Crispy, like I said, I'm going to be working on Aidan Clune because, again, there's other missing people out there that need help. I find it interesting that he says that I'm spending all this time behind my keyboard. I am trying to figure out this surveillance footage. That is clearly, in my opinion, probably the most important evidence that we have right now. And if it was parents like Candace that had surveillance, they would be on it white on rye. Dissecting it every which way. Any support. Same thing with Amy. If there was surveillance footage. Not these people. They don't want to touch it. They want to make stuff up, claim that some guy is walking his trash can. We talked about that last week, which is absurd because, look, there's 2 trash cans right there. If this guy, again, okay, one last thing I want to touch on. I've said this a couple times in my life. In late summer, maybe early fall of last year, I had connections on both sides, kind of, right? They went there. They spoke to the homeowner. Keep in mind, this is people on both sides. Now, at the time, they weren't really on, the other side. They were kind of just in the middle. That kind of makes sense. I don't want to get it too complicated. But they went. The guy was outside. And he's really nice. Does have a family. I'm going to get too much in it. And they have kids. He was outside. And so they ended up walking up to him. And he was really nice. And they kind of, small talk. And then they started asking about, hey, what'd you see? And that's when he said, yeah, there was a car. And he said the car was literally parked right across from the mailbox. He literally pointed. And then he said, yeah, in the footage, when that little dot is running back, he said, he's referring to the video that we've seen, but the video he saw, of course, which is much better quality, he said, yeah, I could see a person jumping the ditch. Now, I spoke to those individuals, remember, that would eventually become on 2 different sides of the spectrum. But before that happened, I spoke to them that day. individually. And they both said the same thing on my mother's grave. Two sides hear the same story, and I spoke to both of them, and they both said the same thing, that what they both corroborated what they heard. So just think about that. Maybe one day I could flip this person. I don't know. But it kind of bothers me because it tells me that these people on the other side have heard this story. That's what really pisses me off. They know where this camera's pointed. They know where the lights were at, but they won't address it. Yeah, the whole trash truck, remember in the beginning, because they were so mad that got leaked out through Nick Barris. Even Jennifer talked about it. They were so worried, so they told the parents, yeah, no, that's trash trucks. And so, yeah, when I think Seth went on Pascal, yeah, he said, no, those are trash trucks, because that's what we're told. I haven't told you, even neighbors, when they started having concerns, they went and called and had them come over. I don't know if it's TBI or if it was Sumner County. And they started kind of questioning, I don't think that's a trash truck. And they were shut down so fast. Yeah. June says, thank you, Mob Crew Chris. All your hard work searching for Sebastian. We love you. Thank you so much, June. God bless you. Yeah. When I get a chance, I'll look at some stuff. Again, I'm not, because we don't do the drama, and we're kind of on the precipice of Aidan Clune. So, and I really want to get better so we can go out there and finish his case. Because that's the whole thing about this channel, is to help missing families. That was the goal of this channel. And again, like I said, I think this year could be the year if we have the right resources, and if anybody's watching that has connections with cadaver dogs, this is huge. If we could get more cadaver dogs out there for that search. Now, I would not contact me, but I would contact the Facebook group, which would have Amy's number. So this one here. And, kind of figure that stuff out. But yeah, thank you, Lakeside Lori. Yeah, so if you came in late, just long story short, if you didn't hear what I talked about in the beginning about my health, I'm not going to get deep into it. I have some kind of bacteria in my stomach. I've had it for about a year. I don't know exactly how I got it. Best possibility is when I was out there searching every other week. In the desert, getting bit by mosquitoes, ticks, maybe drank some bad water. I don't know. But after we did the Aidan thing, especially after finding the shoes, yeah, something just wasn't right. And I think it's just progressed. And then the worst thing with bacteria is when you eat, you're supposed to get that nutrients, and what happens is the bacteria actually absorbs a lot of that. So it deprives your body of, your energy. And so it sucks. Hey, Bullhorn Betty, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, so hopefully I would get better. I've got to speak to some people. I know a place where I could set this recreation up. If I could get the funds, maybe I'll just go out there and talk to the guy. I mean, I don't really want to do that because, again, I feel like these neighbors have been through hell. But if I was on the street, that's technically public property. I don't know if anybody knows, like, because this is a common area, I don't know. I guess I'll have to talk to the locals. I could possibly go out there and do it. Then I could go see Crispy, take him up on his offer. And get bacteria from kissing. Yeah, whatever it is, at least I've got some kind of diagnosis, so it's good. But anyway, so that's the plan. Either, more than likely, I'm going to probably do it here, get all the measurements, and then we could get an idea of how far, and I'm sure using AI as well, could get an idea of the distance of these lights, and possibly even the positioning, because we have two anchors. Remember, we have the floodlights on this side, and then we have one floodlight here. And then obviously I would know the distance between those two lights. And then it's just a case of walking back and forth with headlamps, flashlights. I don't think it's a cell phone light. I think it's way too far. I don't think they would be that stupid, but I'll try them all. Anyway, there's more, but I'm going to end it there. I'm not. Yeah, because you know what? If I end up meeting, you know who in person, then all of a sudden I'll be accused of stalking him or something. Yeah, no. But I know he's going to watch the video. Thank you, Shannon. I really appreciate the love. I wish I could get to everybody's comment. Yeah. We're going to definitely grow the channel. I'm going to try to do maybe a members live and a live tomorrow. I've got a lot to make up before the end of the week or end of the month because I missed half the month. So we'll probably be back. Hopefully my antibiotics come in either tomorrow or Wednesday, and then we could start getting on the road of healing. So. Oh, he did invite me to search, right? Yeah. No, I'm sure he's more focused on, watching YouTubers. All right, guys. Mods, thank you so much. D, Jocelyn, and Jazz Sensei, God bless you. I think poor Jennifer's been out. She's had some health issues. I don't know if I saw Copper Horse in here, but as always, community is the best. Again, at the top, one last time, if you would like to help out with Aidan Clune's search, again, I'll do a members live where we'll kind of go into why I think we could bring him home this year. I really do. I have two areas that I'm going to be talking with his mom. Excuse me, where we could most likely search, which would probably have a high probability of bringing him home. I saw a member. Oh, Boogie, good to see you. I have been behind on emails. Again, 2 weeks I've been in bed. I was just bedridden, so forgive me for not being responding. I do apologize. The thing about your stomach is it's your core body, and it just, when your core is, in pain or whatever, it just, it's just unbearable to sit for more than 10 minutes. It sucks. But that's just part of life, and it could always be worse. That's how I look at things. It could always be worse. I have eyesight, not the best hearing, but you got to look at the good through the bad. So, all right, guys. Likely tomorrow, membership. Membership live, and I'm gonna try to get some Patreon stuff out there. $3 a piece, by the way. $3 a piece. Get some photos out there, right? So, anyway, love you guys. And we're going to start doing pet outros again. I just got to get my energy back. The biggest thing is I just don't have that energy because the bacteria is literally just absorbing the nutrients that I need, and it just sucks. But thank you guys. I love you guys. I hope you guys had a happy Easter. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. Yep, $3. Maybe I'll do $3.50, right? Why not get $3.50? Ridiculous. All right, guys. Much love. Be safe.